We're going to look at how to use Google Classroom within your classroom, and then we're going to look at Google Docs and Google Slides. If you want to pull up this presentation on your laptop, you can type in that URL down there at the bottom, or I can share it with you afterwards so you can have it with you. So our objectives today are based off the ISTE standards, which are standards for integrating technology for educators. They also have them for students as well. Today you're going to explore the basics of Google Classroom. With Google Classroom, you're going to be able to foster independent learning and accommodate your learners' differences and differentiate your learning. And then you're also going to explore ways to use Google Slides in your classroom and Google Docs. And hopefully you'll actually design a learning activity that aligns with your content area standards that you can use in your classroom. All right, so Google Classroom is basically just a simple way to get started with a paperless classroom. It keeps your students' work organized, and it's fully integrated with Google Suites or Google Drive, which the district office is doing a PD next week on Google Drive and how to use that. And then it's fairly easy to learn for teachers, and students pick up on it very quickly. So as a teacher, you can post announcements, assignments, and questions, and we'll actually look at that in a few seconds. You can provide real-time feedback to your students. You can grade assignments quickly because it's all right there on your computer. It's all right there for you. And then you can easily view who has completed the assignment. I know last year I always would forget who needed to make up work and things like that when they missed. And this, you can easily see, oh, so-and-so, Johnny hasn't finished this assignment, he needs to complete it. As a student, they can add files from their Google Drive. So in 4th grade in STEM, this group added a picture for their assignment. And then you can create new Google Docs and slides. In 5th grade, you can hardly see it, but they created a slide to tell me what they did with Dash and how to actually program him and how they programmed him. And then you can actually, like I said, give immediate feedback to your students so they receive that immediate feedback right away. They know what to change, they know what to fix. And then they can easily view their upcoming assignments. As a teacher, this is kind of, we'll go through the teacher perspective first, and then you'll sign in as a student, where you'll join a class as a student so you can see both ways. But as a teacher, you can create and customize a new class. You can add students, create assignments, and then post announcements and email your students. I have a video here, like when you have the presentation you can watch on your own time. We're not going to watch it, but Friday Technology is a great resource to learn more about Google Classroom. So now what I want you to do is we're going to actually log in to your Google Classroom and look at it through a teacher's perspective. There's 2 ways to do that. At the top, if you're in Chrome, Google Classroom is going to work better just because Chrome is Google. If not, that's okay too. So there's one way where at the beginning of the school year you guys added these bookmarks. This one is your Google Classroom bookmark. You can press, it's like a little whiteboard with a silhouette of a man. You can press that, or you can just go to a new tab and type in classroom.google.com. And it should pull up your classroom. All right, so now that you are in, this is kind of what yours looks like. You have a ton of classes in there because they've already been set up for you by PowerSchool. The district office automatically did that for you. But it's a little confusing because you have one set up, especially if you're teaching 2nd grade, 1st grade, 3rd grade, and you have your whole class all day long. You have a homeroom, you have a science, and you don't have the whole class. So I'm going to teach you today how to edit or archive those so you can delete them so you won't need them. It's up to you on how many classes you want. It's easier if you just have one because you can organize that within Classroom using your Google Drive and things like that, topics, and by subject. So I would just have one, but it's up to you. Now, if I was teaching 4th grade or 5th grade, I would have one per class. But all right, to do that, to edit your classroom, so if I wanted to edit this one that says STEM Benninger, I would go to these 3 dots in the top right corner and click those. To move, that just means you're basically moving the arrangement. I could put all my 4th grade together, I could put all my 1st grade classes together, however you wanted to arrange it on your desktop here. edit is how you're going to change the name. So edit, and then you could just write 2017 through 2018 if you wanted to. However you wanted to name your class, and then just hit save. You can change the section and subject if you wanted to. And then I'm just going to cancel because I don't need to save it. Now, to archive or delete your class, so because you have like 4 or 5 that you don't need, you just click the same 3 dots and then hit archive. And it should delete them. It actually puts them in a folder of archive classes, so it doesn't necessarily delete them. They just go off your home screen. So we'll go ahead and start moving on. You can go ahead, once you have your classroom that you want to use, go inside of it by just clicking your name or whatever your title. Now, this is your stream. This is where your assignments will post, where your announcements will post, what your students will actually see. So with 4th grade, we've been working on the sun, earth, and moon, and this is their assignment that they're working on. So my students actually see this assignment when they log in. But I'm going to show you how you might want to add or remove a student. I'm not sure if PowerSchool will automatically update those, so I'm going to teach you anyways. If you go to students, it will list all your students for you. To remove them, so if I wanted to remove Chloe Brown, she changed classes, you just click on that student, go to Actions, and then hit Remove at the top, Actions, and then hit Remove. Now, if you had a new student move in, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can email, if you can invite that student by email, so you would type in their email that they're given, and then it would send them an email and they'd know how to log in through that. Or, if you have like a whole class, which most of you wouldn't really need this, Mr. Maxey would, because he had to set up his own classes, you would use this class code and you would display this class code. Everybody would have their iPads, they would be logged in, and you would display this class code and then you would join a class. I'm going to actually show you how to do that to get you to join my Google Classroom, so I can teach you guys how to use Google Slides in just a second. But before I do that, if I move to the About, this is like where you can add features to your Google Classroom. You have a Class Drive folder, Classroom Calendar, and then your Google Calendar. If you scroll down, you can invite teachers. So this is where you can invite Mr. Maxey. If he pulls some of your students, he might want to see some of their work. You can invite Mr. Maxey or Ms. Smith. So you would hit Invite Teachers and just type in their name or email and send them an email, and they could join your classroom, so that way they could see their students' work as well and what they were doing within the classroom. All right, so now we've looked at it from a teacher's perspective a little bit, and then what I'm going to get you to do is log in as a student and see it from a student perspective, and I'll teach you how to post an assignment so you can see how it's going to look for your students. So, if you'll go back to your home screen by going to these 3 bars at the top left, hit Classes, and it'll go back to your home screen. You have a plus button here at the top. If you'll click that, and then this is where you could create a class if you wanted to create a new one, but you want to hit Join Class. So you would hit Join Class. Now, as the teacher, I'm going to go in to Students and display my class code for you, and you'll type in that code and then hit Join. So now you're ready to actually work through this slide presentation and learn how to use Google Docs and Google Slides to help you create assignments in your classroom. So what you and your group will do is work through this presentation by clicking the file, and it'll bring it up, and it gives you all the information that you need, and at the end it actually gives you an assignment for you to do. Okay? Sound good? Alright guys, so a couple of you have started finishing up your Google Doc or Google Slides. Kindergarten turned in, they created a slide deck. So I could actually click and figure out, oh, these two students are finished, Miss Davis and Miss Matt, and I can actually view their assignments. So kindergarten made a pumpkin slide deck. They have a video, a picture, and a life cycle that their students can view. So now with Google Classroom, I can go in and see who's finished and who hasn't finished their work. And it's very easy to organize and things like that. Did anybody have any questions on Google Slides, Google Docs, or Google Classroom? If you would like to stay and complete your assignments, that's fine. Otherwise, thank y'all for coming, and make sure you get all the donuts on the way out.